Hi everyone. So in this video, we're going to work through a Year 12 proof question from the AS sample paper. Now, part A of this question says prove that for all positive values of x and y, square root of x times y is less than or equal to x plus y over 2. But just before we get into the video, I want to make you all aware about a web app that I have created. Now, this app that you see on the screen here is designed to predict the 2027 Edexcel A-level Maths topics that will come up in your 2027 exams. So now that the 2026 exams are finished, we now have access to those questions. So what I've done is I've analysed all of the questions from 2026 back to 2018 and also including the sample and the specimen Edexcel papers. And I've used that data to put together a model which will predict the topics for the 2027 exams. And if we just scroll down here, you will see how accurate this model that I'm using is. So if you do want to have access to the full predictions for the 2027 exams and also have access to a web app which will generate mock exam papers based on these predictions, that is what you can get if you do sign up to this app. Just go to the link in the description of this video, and also you can get the link to this web app in my bio. Click that link, sign up. You can see on the top right of the page here, you can sign up to the app and you'll be able to access all of these 2027 predictions. Now, with this question, I would say that it's not entirely obvious where to start on this question. So we're trying to do a proof where we're going to do some mathematical calculations and we want to arrive at this conclusion there. It's not entirely obvious where we start. So in a proof question like this, and this is not going to be true with most proof questions, but in a harder proof like this, where we don't really know where to start, I would actually recommend starting with the final answer or the final statement that we're trying to achieve and sort of work backwards. So if that is true, let's just say that if this is true, so if we assume that it's true, let's see what we can deduce from there. So if this is true, then this statement is equivalent to saying that 2 root xy is less than or equal to x plus y. Now, because there's a square root on the left-hand side of the inequality, it makes sense just to square both sides. So if this statement is true, then it means that this thing squared is less than or equal to this thing squared. Because remember, both x and y are positive values in this case. So this statement is equivalent to saying that 4xy is less than or equal to x plus y all squared. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to expand the brackets on the right-hand side next. So this statement is equivalent to saying that 4xy is less than or equal to x squared plus xy plus another xy, so 2xy, and then plus y squared. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to subtract the 4xy onto the other side. So if we do that, we have 0 is less than or equal to x squared, and then 2xy minus 4xy, that would be a minus 2xy, and then plus y squared there. Now, on that right-hand side, what I want you to notice is that you can actually factorize that right-hand side. So this statement is equivalent to saying that 0 is less than or equal to x minus y all squared. Because if you were to expand the brackets there, you'd have an x squared, you have a minus 2xy, and then you have a plus y squared at the end there. Now, with this final statement, do you agree with me that this statement is always true? So if x and y are both positive, then that means that this thing in there is some value. And when you square a real number, it cannot be negative. So what we can say is that squaring a real number like x minus y always gives us a non-negative value. Because again, when you square any number, it's either bigger than zero, or if the number is zero, zero squared is zero. So it's a non-negative value. Therefore, for all positive x and y, and even if x and y were negative in this situation here, that means that x minus y all squared is greater than or equal to zero. But that statement is equivalent to the original statement in the question because we work backwards from the final answer. So therefore, root xy must be less than or equal to x plus y over 2. So root xy is less than or equal to x plus y over 2. And that's our proof. Done. Just another quick interjection. If you are currently doing Edexcel A-level Maths and you feel that you're struggling or you're falling behind and you're not quite getting that grade that you need to get in order to get into university, or perhaps you're a parent watching this and you're worried about your child's progress, what you can do is you can head to my website. Now, my website is in my bio and also in the description of this video. Click onto the link and you can watch a brief video about me and my background. You see this video on the screen here. In this video, I outline the style and the structure of my tuition. You can also read some of my reviews and testimonials from other parents and students who have worked with me on this website too. So if you feel like one-to-one tuition is something that would benefit you in order to get the grades that you need to get, then again, just head to this website. And what you can do is you can book a free 90-minute call with me. And in that call, we'll spend some time discussing you, your situation, your ambitions, what you want to achieve, the grade you want to get, and why you feel like you're struggling and why you feel like maybe tuition is the right path for you. And we'll also spend some time basically doing a free trial lesson where I will help you out for free with any particular topics or any particular areas of the syllabus that you know you need help with. And by the end of the call, we can then discuss whether one-to-one tuition is the right path for you to get you that grade you need to get. So once again, the link to my website is in the bio and in the description of this video. Perfect. So that's part A to the question. Now, for part B, prove by counterexample that this is not true when x and y are both negative. Okay, so if we just pick a random value of x, a negative value of x, like -1, and a random negative value of y, like -2, we will see what happens. So if we do that for part B, try and fit this in here. So if we let x equal -1, y equal -2, then therefore that means the left-hand side is equal to root of xy, which is root -1 times -2, and that gives us root 2. Now with the right-hand side, so we'll do -1 plus -2 over 2. So the right-hand side, equals -1 plus -2 over 2. So that will be equal to -3 over 2. Clearly, in this case, the left-hand side is greater than the right-hand side because root 2 is positive, -3 over 2 is negative. So therefore, this is a counterexample. This is a counterexample. Since we needed the right-hand side, go back to the question, we needed the right-hand side to be bigger than or equal to the left-hand side. So therefore, this is a counterexample. Perfect. So if you do have any questions with this question, do drop a comment below and I will get back to you to help you out.